First of all, just welcome to the Van Jones Show. Obviously, such a massive hero on court with all the accolades or whatever. I didn't really realize, though, how much heroic stuff you're doing off the court. You are putting Puerto Rico on your shoulders. You put Baltimore on your shoulders. You doing stuff in South Africa. Before we get into all that, why are you doing this? Why are you using your platform in the way that you are?
I think kind of just understanding kind of what my platform is and what I'm capable of doing and how strong of a voice I have. And once I realized that, the rest of it was easy for me. It was just going and doing it. I felt like I had a vow to do it.
You talked about this vow.
Yeah.
How old were you when you made this vow? Because that's a deep word, vow.
The vow was more so to like my crew. Like it was just like, when I make it, this is what we're doing. We got to give back. It was more so to them.
Yeah.
And being that they're still there, I always feel obligated. And
I got some news for you though. Everybody says that they're gonna do that. Everybody. I know you thought you were special. Everybody says that.
I know.
Nobody
Trust me. I know.
does it.
When you're from there, it's easy, right? Because you're a product of that environment, and you know what's going on, and you know the struggle, and you know the cry out for help, and those people. If you're not from there, then it's easy to say that you're going to do it and then shy away from it.
Yeah. The thing that I think for me, I didn't really realize the depth of your commitment until you walked out on stage that time at the ESPYs.
Yeah.
And it was like you and LeBron and Dwayne Wade. I'm like, this is like the Titans coming out, for justice. I was like, what they about to talk about?
Yeah.
Why did you do that? I mean, that's never been done before, never been done since. It's like an iconic moment. What was your thought process to say, we're all going to walk out here and take this stand for justice?
Well, where we was at the time, I mean, we still there, but where we was at the time as a society, as a country, it was like, you had all the athletes in one place at one time. So that was a perfect place to do that, to send that message and deliver that message, and almost a call for help. And kind of it spearheaded something, not just with athletes, but with everything.
Yeah. A lot of the athletes, back in the 90s, they really stayed out of politics. Kind of the 60s, they were political.
Yeah.
70s, 80s, 90s, not so much political. Why do you think so many athletes, not just yourself in the NFL, et cetera, why are athletes now stepping to the forefront in a completely different way?
Well, I think the game has changed as far as the business of the game, the focus of the game. I think one good thing that we realize as basketball players is we are the league. There's no league without the players. We support the owners, they support us, but most importantly, our commissioner, Adam Silver, does a great job of supporting our causes, and he never tried to interrupt. He tried to team up with us, try to partner up with us to deliver that message, but he gives us, that freedom of speech to go out there. Because I think at the end of the day, he understands that we are those people, in some way, somehow we are affected by it too.
You are going to be a part of this documentary series on Trayvon Martin, Rest in Power, that Roc Nation pulled together.
Trayvon became the face of our community. We had to go to war for him.
Rest in power.
Why is that such an important thing for you to be a part of? Why is that issue so important to you?
Well, I think at the end of the day, we all know what happened to Trayvon Martin. And to even speak on that is touching, is hurtful. But at the end of the day, it was almost a sacrifice. I had the opportunity to meet the family, so I know the mom, I know the father, and I know the hurt that they was going through at that time. I met with them right after, the tragedy. So to see where they was at that point in time, to see where they at right now, and then to see our society, gathering around them and rallying around them and uplifting them, kind of they are the voice for that. I mean, other families, who've been through the same situation, they're there to be their backbone and to be their strength as well.
Do you feel like we're making progress from those Trayvon Martin days? Are we still there? Or do you see much improvement yet?
Not at all. It actually got worse. Now we're actually seeing it live on our fingertips, so we feel compelled that we have to do something, and I think that's the uproar.
Is that why you sent? I think you helped like 4,500 kids go to the March for Our Lives. You're trying to help that next generation find their voice.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I know how powerful the youth voice are, and I think now is the time where we're going to start hearing more and more voices from the youth, because they understand how powerful they are now, and they can move and shake. They can make things happen to youth. I think a lot of people are tired of hearing the adults talk.
Yeah.
But when you hear the kids speak, when you hear the youth speak, it's a little bit more touching, and people feel obligated to get something done.
When you were growing up, did you see gun violence, that kind of stuff? Was your neighborhood that tough, or was that something that has gotten worse if you watched Baltimore?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to talk about, but it's easy. But my neighborhood was called the Pharmacy for a reason, right? Like it was the Pharmacy. They made a TV show about my neighborhood, The Wire. So a lot of those things was for TV, but there was a lot of things in there that was real. I mean,
that much dope dealing.
Yeah, it was just the drugs, the prostitution, the fighting, the killing, the police brutality, and the school system and the prison system. Like I've been a part of all of that growing up, so I know what that feeling is like, and you almost become immune to that when you was growing up. But now that I'm able to step back and see exactly what I was going through dealing with, like I feel like I have to do something to help that.
Well, I want to walk through some of the stuff that you're doing just to give people a sense, because I think a lot of people, they're watching the news, they feel completely helpless. Talk about this tools for teachers. Why are you trying to give teachers better tools and technology? Like, why are teachers in your heart?
I mean, let's just face it, it's the teachers get treated like, we all know what the teachers get treated like. The education system, the school system turns their back on the teachers. When you go around and actually talk to these teachers and then listen to their stories about their relationship with the kids, as far as having to give kids utensils and book bags and books
sometimes
and food, like at the end of the day they become kind of one of their parents or their chaperone, somebody that they have to look after more so than just a teacher to a kid. So when you hear those stories, you want to give back. And I mean, that was the easy part, giving pencils and pens and book bags and books and, arts and crafts supplies. And, those things go a long way.
You're also helping the kids. You're doing this Courts for Kids stuff, and that's 20 plus courts, safe spaces for kids here and around the world. What's the origin story for that whole idea?
Well, the Court for Kids idea came out. I grew up on outside court. Nowadays, people don't play outside, so it's a little bit different, but that's what I wanted to kind of bring back, that community feel, and putting a basketball court, because basketball, sports in general, kind of connects everything in life.
Why South Africa, though? I mean, so I can get, I mean, I'm serious, like, you kind of way outside of the lines. Yeah. I mean, one thing you say, I'm going to do stuff in Baltimore, my homeboys in Baltimore. You don't have that many homeboys in South Africa. Why are you doing courts in South Africa?
I think it makes sense. I've been to South Africa a couple years ago. I did the whole safari thing and kind of fell in love with the, with the.
I took my kids there too. It was like, look, giraffes are even taller than you.
Yeah. So once you see that, and then you go see the other side of things, it's like, okay, this is what I want to be a part of. How can my foundation help?
You mean like the poverty, or?
The poverty, just the downtrodden areas that's over there, and that's just another place I wanted to add on, to my foundation as far as the outreach.
You've also done stuff in Puerto Rico, and you have a real Puerto Rican heritage.
Yeah.
The hurricane really tore up Puerto Rico, and yet I didn't see the White House responding to that in a way that they should have. Did that bother you to see the White House kind of missing in action during the crisis in Puerto Rico?
It hurt. Somebody who spent a lot of time down there on the island, somebody who kind of got the opportunity to talk to those people, and over the years, I've been down there for almost 10 plus years, and now I'm going back and forth and helping out. So to see our government turn their back to that.
Because Puerto Ricans are American citizens.
I mean, they're American citizens, so if you could, you turn your back to your own American citizens, then you can do anything. And that was something that I felt like it was a low blow, kind of to me and to all the Puerto Ricans down there, because we can't control Hurricane Maria. Like we just couldn't control that. So the least you can do is send the resources down there. But we did a great job. We sent airplanes down there with supplies, tools down there, and we teamed up with a couple other big companies and trying to get the supplies down there. So it was just a lot. It was just sad that we had to go through that in order to help people. You can't do everything. I get that. You can't help everything and help everybody out, but the things and the people that really need attention to, that's what you're supposed to be, giving our attention to. Mm-hmm. As far as the government, as far as our leader of our country, Puerto Rico is part of this country. And I just felt like, you know, the government completely turned their backs, you know, to that island.
We all have platforms. You're using yours brilliantly, and I just appreciate you for being on the Van Jones Show.
Thank you, man.
All right, brother.